Good evening, everyone. System Chalk here with another episode of the Priest Legacy for Cultist Simulator, telling the story of Harold Davidson. Now, if I got my calendar correct, I think Friday's episode, which is today's, should be April 1st, and I suppose the tradition is to always do some kind of a prank or something like that. So, of course, naturally it'd be lots of fun to go, delete everything and say, oh no, I lost the save, we'll just go into another legacy. Or maybe I could do what I'll call moth mode, and we go into the options, and that's something we could do here. Say grid off. Little something like that. But that will probably annoy everyone, so I'll be nice, and maybe we'll just focus on the task at hand. Might have something a little for the prankish among you. Some of you may have already noticed it. But moving on, we've got a couple of funds which will be coming from our painting efforts. I think, why was I leaving the work slot open? Right, yes, that was my cliffhanger, so I suppose that should be what I properly move on to. So what I wanted to see here, I think I should be able to summon a Callagine. So what we're going to do here is we'll take the Sunset Rite, we add the Bitter Atmosphere, let's bring Knock in. And there are possibilities here if I add Edge, Heart, or Forge. So Edge would give me... Oh, actually, that's an interesting possibility. So I just want to double check what that is. Voiceless Dead, that's right. So yeah, there was more than one. But I believe here if I add the Forge, so we'll bring Laidlaw in. Oh, right. Okay. And I've tied up my Knock followers. Oh, so close. We'll hang on and see if we can do better. Okay, so I want to do something with my work slot anyway. Let's say we do a service. I mean, I could try doing well, actually, I guess I can't do an esoteric painting. So let's grab our heart. We will grab our passion and improvise a sermon on a secret doctrine. I will speak to their souls, and if I speak with conviction, their souls may answer me. The serpent's sorrow. It lowers its great head. Moisture seeps from its lidless eyes. Is it weeping? Let's try the Painted River. Right, Fascination. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. I dreamt of the mansis behind the white door, of the great space above the orchard, the space that overlooks the bounds, the space where the vagabond once painted her river. Painted ships passed upon the painted river. I met the painted eyes of a painted captain. She saluted, and the motion was like the layered movement of clouds. The sail of the ship was amber, and the captain's eyes the green of new barley, and the river aquamarine. Now that I'm awake, I see those colors still. Okay, so we will, I think we'll just go back to the stag door. Oh no, we have a Season of Visions. Curses, I should have thought about that. Okay. Well, we got a few options available to us, so we will grab the Society of Holy Wounds. First thing we need to deal with is the Fascination. So, I mean, one option I have... limits a little bit of what I can do in the stag door, but I'm actually going to let this run its course naturally. So Fascination will get picked up by the Season of Visions, but the Icy Atmosphere should decay to Dread, and then it'll get picked up by the Season of Visions as well. On the condition, of course, that it's not a season... Oh, this game hates me. Okay, so I just made life difficult for myself. In this case, let's simplify things. We will take the Society of Holy Wounds, and we will level up a pawn. Nope. 7th intensity. Aha! I've really put myself in a tough spot then. Alright. Our expedition plans for the next challenge. It'll consume funds. I can add funds now, or I could send another follower. I'm not going to send anyone. So I am in a little bit of trouble, but I'm going to get through it. I again just need to be careful in terms of what I do for the next few turns. In the house of the sun, the dance of the angels of glory does not cease. Those who are cast down, wave, wound, or snow are gone from the house, and as long as their parts in the dance are filled, they may never return. Therefore let us join hands and add our little steps to the dance. So, there's the funds. This may generate a notoriety, which would not be great for me, but you never know. And in this case here, I think we're just going to go straight into another fervor, although I don't think I have the passion for an improvised sermon, so that's fine. In this case, we'll just bring Lantern. One of the reasons for that is it may give me an erudition, which I can use to upgrade lore, although, you know, I can translate a book as well. And we will use reason. So this takes a little bit longer. It's 60 seconds to get my funds instead of 50, but it's not the end of the world. That comes later. I've increased my knowledge of the secret histories behind the one we know. The attention of the hours is drawn to the bloodiest wars. Afterwards, the histories are braided like hair. Exploring with a scrap of knowledge may uncover secret locations in the land beyond the forest across the continent. So we've sort of stalled out as far as new locations for the secret histories go. We really need to go much further. Now that would be basically where we go, where we start using the spider's door, but I'm not quite ready to do that yet. So instead, let's take a minute and translate some books. I'm not going to read them, but we can at least get the Aramaic done. So the world does not weep. Brown Joshua found this in a well in Hamath. There's an unlikely story that it was abandoned by Alexander during his retreat from Issus. Excuse me. Okay, so again, I still think the notoriety is gonna catch us, but we call upon the beach crow who sees what is lost. We bear a great power of opening. We'll almost certainly find this hidden door. And we've got another forbidden epic, so if I want to double up my texts, I'm in good shape. There's a great chamber in the mansus through which a painted river flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. Our devotion has drawn comment, so always happy to see mystique come out of that. I mean, I prefer funds, obviously, but let it run. It's worth mentioning that I can subvert pretty much any lore into Nock, so this is sort of a choice here that I don't have that 8th level lore for the summonings, but... Faint lines in stone, a surface that yields to pressure. We found it. The hidden door moves with a grating shudder and a shower of dust. Sometimes my words and those I have borrowed move my congregation beyond mere concentration to exaltation. At last their fervor is spent. What have they made of this night? Nothing, apparently, but... The next question is, what do I want to do with my work verb? I guess I could try painting again. I suppose the question is, how bold do I feel as far as notoriety is concerned? You know, I guess, okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna get hit by the notoriety no matter what, because I'm gonna keep going on these expeditions. So at the very least, I can get the notoriety for the painting as well. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw a bunch of passion into this. I guess it's time for me to decide what I want. Let's do forge. Those who know will understand. And then we'll put the bitter black salts in and get ourselves a forge item. And same text. So I'm gonna wait a little while on reading the remaining texts, just because, you know, we might make our conditions worse. But in this case, we will continue to translate. So on Matthias and Amethyst Imago, transformation. The diagrams and illustrations, even across the centuries, are elegant, hypnotic, occasionally erotic in Aramaic. But only erotic in Aramaic. Treasures lie before us, but we don't have the text yet. Did I just see the dread go into the fascination? If it did, I am a happy camper. Anger is implicit in every shape. Of the place my dreams took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far, the pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain I could employ to occult purposes if I hurry. Okay, that's really interesting. So I've always thought that the dread would automatically go to the Season of Despair no matter what, but it looks like there's a chance for the two magnets to fight with each other, and in this case, it's wound up tranquilizing the Season of Visions. So paintings whisper, windows wink. I know these things are not true, but how can I be certain? Go back through the snag door. There's nothing really for me to do. Made it a bit of a mess on this side of things. Oh, right. Put the bitter black salts in. Season of Suspicion coming up, which is the equivalent of a free turn for me. And the congregation has donated generously, and they haven't limited those donations to the collection plate. So one of the reasons why I'm okay doing the expeditions and such is that I want to try and at least get one painting where I go full notoriety for the money. And again, that's going to finance the remaining expeditions. The room stinks of serpent musk and burnt paper. Someone has comprehensively destroyed all the records they could find. They've even scrubbed the walls clean. Cold ashes choke the fireplace. No trace of the poor soul who rented this place remains. I made something unique, something extraordinary, something I'll never dare exhibit publicly. Dark grains, properly treated, yield fiery colors. Okay, so there's my contentment, which was never guaranteed, but there's always the hope that I'm able to work with that if the Season of Despair has teeth. And the Forge of Days. If the Forge could regret it, it would regret the intercalate, but in all its other work, it knows joy. So we can't do another esoteric painting if I wanted, but we've got 3 notoriety and mystique, which I can throw. So, I mean, it'd be nice if I had 4, but I won't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. We'll grab what we can with the mystique, and if I'm lucky, I'll get some. I'll generate some mystique out of this painting. But this is really all about the money. This should have an impact. If I waited long enough, I'd get a notoriety, but I'm really not interested in waiting that long. An account of an occult romance. A certain Eavogos claims to have written this in a single night as part of his initiation into the Alpine branch of the House of Leith, that order of immortals who would not pledge themselves to any hour. Incidentally, so this is one of the ones where I don't necessarily want to draw any significance with it, but just one of these points where you can think a bit about the world that was created. There has been another reference to an Alpine, and in fact it's the individual that we learned Aramaic from. Dr. Ibn al-Adim, called the Alpine, has an interest in overlooked history. He has offered you a commission. And of course, as we've pointed out in earlier episodes, this is one of the characters who is not listed as mortal, and if you do a search on Wikipedia, you will actually see that Ibn al-Adim is a historical figure. So of course the implication of him not having mortality probably accounts for the fact that somebody from a Wikipedia article who exists in a period that is not in line with what you would think, roughly the time that you think Cultist Simulator takes place. That explains why it's showing up. All right, let's take our Greek and read the deeds of the scarred captain, painstakingly assembled by the soldier of fortune and sometimes remittance man Pavel Shulga during his years in Greece. Lock the study door, the work begins. Ashes above. Oop. There we go. A single corner of fired curl paper has survived the flames. In a shaky hand, it reads, Lady K. Green Chalcedony, 3-lobed, spring leaves in But unexpectedly, in a suitcase beside the flames, a little trove of books survives. Whoever destroyed the Key Hunter's journals saw no need to burn these books. Alright, so we've got our raw profit. Again, if we had evidence to deal with, now would be the time, but I think we'll probably just crash into the next expedition. And we have got the irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. That's one in Latin that we'll have to translate. The Serenity of the Black Wood, that's in Greek. The Cipher Journal of Alessandro Lacrosse, so that one we can sell. And finally, on the Matters and Deeds of Serpents, which is one we're probably very interested in, but that is a VAC text, and so we need to ascend a little bit higher before we can make any sense of it. So, on to Fermier Abbey. Robert Fermier spent much of his unsavory fortune on the endowment of this monumental forest-crowded abbey. The monks dislike visitors. Their ways are not exactly orthodox. They celebrate a certain harvest festival with unsavory vigor. So, given the mention of the monks, you'd sort of think, well, I should maybe bring a couple of moth followers and let the raw prophet stay around to deal with the evidence. Actually, you know what? I think I am going to do that. So let's take Sylvia. We'll add them to the expedition. Throw in a couple of funds. Fermier Abbey, folded into the forest like a jewel box smuggled in a green robe. If we can make it through the forest, we'll still have to face the monks. Actually, that works particularly well. So I'll take the raw profit and put them into the talk verb. I think it's somewhat likely that we're going to need them. And then, I can either add Porter, or I can, if we don't need the raw profit, then I can just add them to the expedition. But given the fact that we have both the forest and the monks to deal with, both of those can be done through Moth. So this is just essentially a preparation for the Season of Suspicion. Although I suppose I probably could have done something with the Trembling Heat as well. Too late to go back. Ah, nuts. Winter passes the clothes, passes the skin, nestles in the veins. I visited the Ascent of Knives last night, that harshest of roads through the house. It has been sacred to the Menascate and the Sun and Rag since the Intercalate, when the true sun was divided. When I woke, my room was freezing. The chill of it had cracked the window glass. So I think I've got something I can do to fix that. We are going to go straight back through the stag door. I'm going to wait until we actually have to face off against the one of the challenges. This work I can be proud of. With enough publicity, it will sell. My recent work is celebrated. My name is known and my work has done well. Okay, so there's the extra mystique. There's a glimmering. We did get a staleness out of that. We also got money. I'm gonna do a glimmering painting this time. Call upon Moth who is dappled. Shadows dapple the path. Perhaps the path is one with Moth. Sorry. Perhaps the path is one the Moth has given us. Probably it is. Probably we'll make it through. So I'm not adding a Moth follower here just because I'm going to add the raw profit. And I'll add the money for the colors of the night. Okay, that's restlessness I'll have to deal with. And we've translated the deeds of the scarred captain, so we'll move on to the next one, the devoured tantra. The diplomat priest Stanislav John Schaller transcribed this from the library of a Red Long, but his manuscript remains in a private collection in Karasham. So Sanskrit text we will translate. And I'll have something for the work verb in a second. A light through the trees. There's something up ahead. We've made it through the forest. Okay. I can do something to get some health, so much the better. There's a great chamber in the mansus through which a painted river flows. The vagabond, it is claimed, painted it from memory in the years before she left the house. Certainly, there are histories concealed in its design. I traced them with my hand last night. There were fragments of aquamarine paint beneath my nails, flecks of gold leaf when I was done. And let's go back again. Until I start getting a sacrifice for the spider door, we can keep going through the stag door. We've got enough forbidden epics that we can do some upgrades to go further. Finished competent work. There's nothing to be ashamed of here. Alright, my recent work has accrued modest fame. My paintings have reviewed well. So, a bunch of mystique, extra glimmering. There's my notoriety. But not that much in terms of money, and we definitely push the staleness a bit. So I'm going to try that Callagine again, but in this case we can bring in Enid as an assistant, and now we can use the Forge to bring in the Callagine. So I don't worry that much about the notoriety because we're going to have an extra summon to work with. Forge for the Smoky Spirit summoning, Winter for its binding. It must know, who will rule it. And Season of Ambition's coming up, so we're actually going to have a couple Restlessness kicking around. I wanted to try Esoteric Art because now I've got somebody to deal with the evidence. But in this case, I think we're going to have to paint to deal with the restlessness and other issues. All right, we'll wait until we go up against the monks. Contemplatives blessed or condemned to service here. They are bound by their curious vows. We can murder them or deceive them, but they will not be seduced. We'll now go translate the Latin for the irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. Potent deception. We have brought here with us certain sacred texts whose meaning is apparent only in moonlight. The illness has damaged my health. I'll need to rest before I'm fully recovered. So, let me just double check. Yeah, there isn't a way I would have been able to use this. Although, there's a small argument for letting this decay. I don't think I'm quite ready for what I need. I'm close. Or am I close? Actually, probably not as close as I think. So in this case, I'll try and heal it. But there is actually, there will be a specific case where it might actually be to my advantage to let that decay into something else. Anyways, we'll go to the Ascent of Knives in this case. The place my dreams took me last night, this has been written. The ascent is glass, the walls are knives, each step is blood. I did not climb far, the pain was too great. When I woke, that pain remained with me, a pain that I could employ to occult purposes if I hurry. And I think it's pretty unlikely we're going to wind up with a vitality, so I think in this case I'm just going to pay for the medicine. It's uncharacteristic for me to do that, but I think in this case I want to free up the dream slot just in case. Alright, a rebellious spirit. Now that's bad luck for me here as far as the restlessness is concerned. So we're just going to use our reason to banish it. Send it home, pronounce the words of dismissal, seal the circle tight, erase every trace. We don't actually have any evidence coming after me yet, so there's no point in risking it. The watchman, who is the door in the eye, awaits in my dreams. If I learn the lantern lore and I dream of this temptation, I can advance my purpose. Instead, we'll just put that into painting. Season of Vision's coming up, but I don't have anything to turn into Fascination. If I had a contentment, that would be nice, but we'll work with that. Okay, so now I am going to want to get rid of some evidence. Monk's Delusion. Faith is a double-edged weapon. These monks have a great talent in the matter of believing, and so they have believed our lies. It's gone. We are safe. So I don't think the rising heat's going to be... Actually, no. I'm going to need... I'm either going to need to give something up that I don't want to give up, or I'm going to need another influence to get that Callagine in. I think I'm gonna give it. I think I'll wait. I'm not in any particular rush. But I am going to go. I'm gonna be a bit bold. I'm actually gonna make another. Gonna make more esoteric art. Let's do. Debating on. I guess heart is the more appropriate one. Those who know will understand. Of course, the irony here would be if I get a vitality out of making this paint. Oh, crap. Restlessness. The irreproachable traditions of the Society of the Noble Endeavor. The members of the Society of the Noble Endeavor adopted noble names as their initiation. At their initiation. Parsifal, Roland, Oisin. They drew their inspiration from the Leashed Flame, which gave the island of Britain such appalling power in some histories. One Samuel Partridge has chronicled their efforts. And for now, we've only got one more book we can translate. That is The Serenity of the Black Wood, an allegorical history of the House of Leith, who it is here implied were inspired by the Centipede. Serrano Blackwood is an occult alias to this day. We might get contentment out of this, I'm not sure. Alright, so this Season of Suspicion is dangerous to me now. So I'm definitely going to need to send the Raw Prophet out to pick up the evidence. I won't pay for this one just because we're getting rid of staleness. If we get a damning evidence, it's not the end of the world, but I'd really rather not let it get to that. So, beneath the boughs, the monks and their their monks and their miseries lie behind us. Here is the chapel courtyard. A great yew rises beside a granite altar, lidded like a sarcophagus. What's within? Okay, there's a contentment to deal with the dread. I could paint with reputation again, I suppose. I will resist the temptation for now, though. So, I could do a sermon, but I think actually the time has come for me to go back to commissions. This may be useful for commission. And looks like we might actually dodge the Season of Suspicion after all, so lucky me. Okay, this contentment's gonna go away before... you know what? We'll work with it. So the world does not weep. Brown Joshua found this in a well in Hamath. There's an unlikely story that it was abandoned by Alexander during his retreat from Issus. Sorry, that was the same text. The unknown adept who wrote this proclaims, the world forgets, but the ivory dove does not. The text contains a number of prescriptions for ensuring that certain acts are remembered, including a rite which requires a sacrifice in a particularly monstrous mode. The space inside the altar is filled with broken cups, everyone painted red, everyone scrawled with vile graffiti and otherwise befouled. The monks must have held great ceremonies of detestation and kept the remains as trophies. Buried among the cup corpses are other treasures. So, more notoriety. Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you, Pergusagant. And we've got Against the Sisterhood of the Knot in Greek. Deoris, Volume 2. I'm pretty sure we've read that before. More Rose Pearl Dust. The Magus von Brandt's authentic and unique account of the true tongue of the true Holy Land of the Highmost, written excitably and in some haste by a gentleman in the grip of a transcendentalist enthusiasm, but nevertheless a useful guide in Aramaic. Another favorite. The Tantra of Worms, Secret Histories in Sanskrit, and the Thirsting Tantra. So, good day's work, I'd say. We're going to chat with the Raw Prophet to get rid of the evidence, and we are going to be moving on to another expedition, but I think we're going to call that here for tonight, so I can read the Vanderschaft collection as we as we go through. Now, for those of you looking for a little whimsy on April Fool's Day, I will point out that in between the episodes, I was actually working on a great work. Some of you may not know this, but there is in fact a master work for secret histories, and here we've got Teresa and Christopher. Love, like the Mantis, defies boundaries. And for those of you who might be watching on mobile, let's see if maybe we can boost the UI scaling a little bit. So, oh, nope, that's about, oh no, there we go. So, there you go. TNC. Truly marvelous. It's an 8 intensity, secret histories tool. So, there you go. For those of you who feel that streams need to do something for April 1st, I am learning this whole YouTube thing. And now, if anybody wants to guess how you get this item, that I will maybe save for another episode. Until then, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you very much for watching. If you have not done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like the video, please do leave a like. And I love hearing from you in the comments. They do also help the videos get noticed. And particularly, I'm hoping that Teresa and Christopher will at the very least merit a lol, or even a he, if you are so inclined. But again, have a great weekend. I will see you all Monday. Take care.